In this Procreate tutorial, I will show you how to create Game of Thrones paper cut design step by step. Please download the free brushes and color palette we will use via the link in the video description. And if you are ready, let's grab our pencils and get started. I'll go ahead and create a canvas for our design. For that, let's click on this plus button, then on the folder, and enter the dimensions in pixels, 2000 by 2500. It is ready. Now let's have a brief look on what we have in the files. There's a simple color palette, and I couldn't help naming the colors after remarkable characters from the Game of Thrones series. If you wanna know my favorite character, I'll say it's Jon Snow, but I also love Arya Stark and Robb. Even though Jon is not a Stark, he is named king in the north by the Northern Lords, so I think it'll be quite fair if we put him in the center of our Winterfell drawing. As for the brushes, there are a couple of stamps, then a snow brush from the premium Christmas set, and a few paper textures that we will apply as overlays. All the files are free to download in the description below this video. If you like my free brushes and YouTube tutorials, you may also want to check out my Patreon page, where I share exclusive video tutorials and brush sets. It is also linked in the video description. With that being said, let's start drawing. So we can actually select any color, for example Robb. And also let's select the stamp with the wolf. I'll set the size to 57% or so, and tap inside the canvas. Let's make sure it is not cropped. And now we can also move it to put it in the center. If you like, you can scale it a little, but we will need more space inside, so I will keep it in this size. Now in the layers, I will set this layer as reference, then create a new one above. This time we need to pick a certain color. It'll be Caitlin. After that I will go to selection and pick automatic mode. I already have color fill option turned on, so I will be using it. I will tap on the background and inside the eye. If your selection doesn't work properly, you may need to slide to the sides to adjust the selection threshold. To me it worked fine, so I will deselect and delete the stamp. This way we colored only the area around. Now I will go to this layer and duplicate it 2 times. Let's go to this layer that is located right above the background color and set it to multiply mode. Also I will apply Gaussian blur on it. From adjustments, we can set it to around 15%. Then go to the layer in the middle. I want to recolor it into light color. So first we need to alpha lock the layer and then grab Edit. If we now tap on the layer and click Fill Layer, it will change the color. After that I will click on the arrow and tap to move it diagonally. Like this. I'll tap only once. If we go to change the background color into Theon, we will see the border better, and also the shadow. Let's try to apply paper overlay. To do that, I will create a layer on top of all layers, and after that clip it, to keep the texture inside the selected shape. I'll be using the same color and pick a paper texture. It'll be craft paper. Actually, all these papers are from my paper pack. It is available on my Patreon. With the size and opacity set to maximum, I will just apply it on the canvas, like this, without lifting the pencil up. And this is the result we will get. I think we can reduce the opacity a little bit. And if you like, you can play around with different blending modes, to make it lighter or darker. I will just set opacity to 75%. After that I will select all layers and group. After that create one more layer. I will place it underneath. In the next step I'd like to draw Winterfell, and it'll have a few layers. Let's use these 4 colors, starting with Brandon. The easiest way to draw straight lines is to use selection. Let's find the center of the image. I think it is somewhere here, and I will skip a small distance from the left edge. Go to Selection and use it in freehand. I already have color fill option turned on, so I'm gonna use it. So let me tap somewhere here, and I will draw the first tower. So it'll have a line like this, then a smaller one, after that it'll go up, and then I will draw a few short lines that will go to the right and down. Something like this. Then I will make another line, go up, and try to mirror this shape. So it'll look like this. Then it will go more to the right. Then down again. I will draw another line and draw a shape similar to this one, but going in the opposite direction. Something like this. Then it'll go down again. I will make an angle, draw another long line, and create a tiny gap. Just make parallel lines. From here I will draw a horizontal line, then go down again with another line, go up, also make it parallel, and after that I will draw a similar tower like this. Try to make it the same height. Actually, they don't have to be perfect. That's why I'm not using symmetry. I will just draw simple shapes like this. Then go up again, make a few smaller shapes, also mirror it, and finish it on the right side. Let's draw a longer line. Then I will make another gap here, go up, and after that I will draw a wall that will go all the way to the right. It will also consist of these simple shapes, horizontal and vertical lines. So I will be just tapping. They may go with a small angle, it is totally fine. Maybe we can add another tower here, or just a shape like this. Actually, I used Winterfell photos as reference. I only simplified them. Let me finish the wall on this side. Then I will tap outside the canvas, go down, and make a horizontal line until here. After that I will draw an arc for the gate, going up, like this. Let's now connect it, and after that I will select Remove to draw a few windows. We can actually switch to rectangle and outline them here. The first one, then also here, and in this small part. Due to this remove option, they will be deducted from the shape. And now it is ready. I will go and deselect. We have the first layer with towers and the gate. I think we can add the texture on it. So let's open the layer, create another one above it, add a clipping mask, and change the layers mode to soft light. I will add two textures, and first I'm gonna use black color. Let's select it from the color disk by double tapping here at the bottom. I want to use the brushes from materials set. These brushes are already in Procreate. You don't have to download them. So first I will select this one. I think it is something in French. So the size can be set to around 13%. And I will apply it all over the shape. On the same layer, I will apply another brush, but with white color. So let me also select it. And in the same brush set, I will select Glover. This time we can set the size to 8%. And I will start making strokes carefully on the top part of the tower. Like this. and also on the wall. Going down just a little bit. If you want to make it more opaque, you can add more strokes. I will keep it like this. Maybe I will just go back to dark color and darken it a bit at the bottom. This way. Okay, now I like it. Let's add the thickness to this layer. So we need to duplicate it. I will do it 2 times, because we will need the shadow too. So now I'm on the layer in the middle. And I will grab this light color called Robert. We can recolor this layer easily. So let's alpha lock it. And then click Fill Layer. Then in Transformation, I will also tap in the same direction to move the paper, only once. And after that we can add the shadow. But first let's also recolor the layer. I'm gonna select Caitlin. Let's also alpha lock it. Then fill the layer. And unlock it. So we can apply Gaussian blur. But we also need to set it to multiply mode. Let's find it in the adjustments and slide to the right. Since this shape is smaller, we can set it to a smaller amount, like 10% or so. In order not to get confused in the layers, let's also select them and group. After that, create one more layer below to draw another layer for Winterfell. And for that I will switch to the next color. It's Jamie. Here I will also use selection to make it faster. Let's start with the big tower. It will be located on the left side. And I'm gonna use selection here as well. Just switch back to freehand. Let's first make a long line. Then it will go this way, with a few more lines. And I will draw the roof. It will go as a triangle. Then I will try to mirror it on the right side. So it will go like this. Then I will make another line going down and connect these two. Let me now select remove here. Let me also switch to rectangle, just to make it faster. I will remove these two, and also on this side. Just make tiny rectangles. Okay, now I will switch to add again, and draw another shape on the right, behind this tower. It will be slightly taller. Let's also use freehand. So I will tap here, make a line like this, then another one with a few angles, and a triangle on top. Then it will go to the right side, with a similar shape. It will go down from here, and then we need to connect it. Select remove option, and rectangle. I will add a couple of windows here, then also thin rectangles on the sides, and a couple of tiny windows here, also as rectangles. Now we can deselect it and draw a flag on top. This time I'm gonna use technical pen from Inkin and set the size to 14%. I will just draw a vertical line from this point, and then a curved triangle for the flag. Let me just paint it like this. And now the shapes are ready. Let's do all the same steps as we did with the first layer. I mean adding the textures, the shading, and the outlines. Now I will do it faster, because you already know what to do. We need to duplicate the layer twice. Go here, create a new layer and clip it. We also need to set the lace mode to soft light and apply the first texture with black color. It will be this one From materials, I will put it all over the shapes. Make it a bit darker at the bottom. Now let's select white color and the brush below. Apply it mostly on top. We can do it by tapping or making strokes, just a little bit. Then I will go to this layer in the center and make it lighter, so I will alpha lock it and recolor it into Robert. Then I will tap once in this direction to move it. And now we only need to add the shadow. And we have this layer left, so let's first recolor it. For that I will alpha lock the layer, select Caitlin, and click Fill Layer, just as we did with this one. But then we need to unlock it, to apply Gaussian blur. And let's not forget to set the layers mode to multiply, to get a darker color. Let's slide to the right, to around 10%. After that I will also group these layers. Create one more layer and drag it below. We will draw 2 more layers of towers. And we need to switch to Cersei. Next I will just draw a wall. It will be very easy. Let's continue using selection in freehand. First I will draw a straight line going up, somewhere here. And then add the small shapes. Going to the right. Making lines horizontally and also vertically. Here it will be hidden, so we can start from here. Continue making these shapes until we reach the edge. Let's go down, then this way, and connect. I'm going to repeat all the same steps as we did on these 2 layers. So I will first duplicate it 2 times, and delay with the clipping mask in soft light mode. Use black color together with this brush and apply it on the shape. Then I will pick white color, pick the next brush, and make a couple of strokes on top, like this. Let's now go to the layer in the middle, and since it has a simple shape, we can try to drag the color inside it, to recolor. So I will pick Robert, and just drag it this way. Make sure color drop threshold is high, so it will work correctly. Now I will also move it like this, and in the end add a shadow. Let's also recolor this layer into Caitlin. I will just drag it this way, then set it to multiply mode, and blur it to 10%. So we have constant amount. We already have 3 layers, let's add the last one. But before that I will group these 4. Click on the plus button and move the layer. Let's use this light color that we applied for the outlines. Let me go to selection. It is in freehand mode already, so I will draw another tower from here. It will go up like this, then a bit to the left, have a few smaller shapes. Then I will draw another one that is mirrored. These shapes are just smaller than we made it here, but very similar. Let's also draw this one, so it'll have just 2 steps. Then I will make a straight line, Go to the right, this way, and add a part of the roof. That'll go as triangle to the side. Okay, this part is hidden, so we can simply connect it this way. And once it is filled, we need to draw another tower here. It'll look very similar to this one. I will just make it a bit taller and not so wide. So let's start approximately from this point. Make a line going up, then to the side, up again, to the right. Then we need to continue it and make a roof. Then I will try to mirror it. Go to the right side like this. Here it'll go down, and then I will finish it with the wall. This way. Finish the outlines and tap. Let's switch to remove option and remove a few rectangles on each side. Also here. Now we can deselect it and draw another flag. For that I will pick technical pen. Draw a straight line and then two curves. Go into the side. Let's paint it. And the shape is ready too. We only need to add textures and other details. So I'm going to duplicate the layer 2 times again. Create a layer for the texture with a clipping mask. Use it in soft light with black color first. I will pick this one from materials and apply it. I will tap a few times. Then pick white color, change the brush, and make strokes on top for more texture. Now these are ready too. Next we need to make the outlines, but since it has the same color, we need to make it a bit lighter, so it will be visible. First I will move it by tapping once, then go to adjustments and increase brightness a little. Can be set to 70%, I think. And this one will be turned into shadow. So I'm locking the layer and going to recolor it into Caitlin. Then we need to unlock it, set to multiply mode as always, and blur it to 10%. Now let's also group these layers. I'm not merging them because the bottom layer is not in normal mode, so if we merge them, they will change the color, so it's not working. Let's keep it as a group. Now that we have Winterfell, we can finish the background and add our main character. Let's add some snow here. I will apply it with white color. And we have this brush here. It's called Snow Brush. We just need to make another layer and place it under all layers. I will set the size to 26% and make a stroke like this. Maybe we can scale it a little. And after that, draw the moon. I will do it on another layer. So let's create it and just draw a circle. I will do it using monoline brush from calligraphy. The size doesn't matter. I will just make the moon big. Tap on the canvas to make it perfect and scale it. Now let's fill the shape. Maybe I will move it a little to the right, this way. And after that I will set the layers mode to soft light. It got a little bit transparent, so we can see the snow. To remove it easily, let's do this. We are on this layer now, with the moon, and I will get it selected. But remove color fill. Then I will go to the layer with the snow, tap on it, and click clear. It will be removed from the circle. After that I will duplicate the layer with the circle, go to this one, and blur it, to add some glow on the background. And it will also get volume, like this. We can also add the paper texture, but also on another layer. Let's create it above the moon. I will continue using white color, and pick a paper from the set. Let it be this one, with grainy paper texture. I will put it this way. And then adjust the blending mode. I will set it to soft light. And you can also play around with opacity. I will reduce it to 88%. Let me create another layer, right above the background. And select area. Now using soft brush from airbrushing, I will add a gradient. So we can make the size at around 16%, and with low pressure, paint around the moon. Just like this. It will be enough. Now that the background is ready, we can add a few layers of paper under the castle. I think we can also group all these layers and then create one more. This time I'm going to use a brush to draw curves. Can be technical pen from inking. I will also change the color to Daenerys and draw a curve here, starting from the edge and going up. Make something like this. Also draw it till the edge. And fill. Let's keep it like this for now, without the texture, and add another layer. So we need to create it below. Also switch to the next color. It will be robe. This color is invisible on the background, so I will be using selection. But if you like, you can use the brush. Let me switch to freehand mode and start from the edge. I will draw a curve like this. Connect it and click color fill. So we got one more layer. After that I will create another one below. Grab the next color, it will be added. And I think here I can use the brush. Starting from this point, I will draw another layer for the snow. Then fill it. Making another one below and applying Sansa. We also need to start drawing from the edge and cover the buildings a little. Let me grab all these layers and move them here, under the first group. And the last layer of paper will be created between these two groups. Let me select area and draw it from this edge. I will fill it and adjust using Liquify. Actually, we can adjust all the shapes like this, in case you don't like them. It needs to cover the edge. Okay. I think it is fine. I will deselect it, and we will only need to add textures, outlines, and shadows to each of these layers. But before doing that, let's add the main character. So I will pick John color and this stamp. I want to put it between these two layers. So let me create it. Then I will pick the brush size. Can be around 40%. And I will tap. After that we can move it. And adjust the size if needed. Okay. I think I will keep it here. Now you already know all the steps that we need to take. You can do it according to your own preferences. I will start with Jon Snow. So let me duplicate it. Twice. I will recolor the layer in the middle into Edit. Let's try to drag it. And then tap once. This color is already dark, so I will try to turn it into a shadow as it is. I will blur it at around 10% and set the layer mode to multiply. Then to apply paper, I will create a layer above the top layer and then clip it. I will grab white color from the color disc and watercolor paper. Just apply it on the shape. After that we can play around with blending modes and opacity. I will set it to soft light and reduce the opacity to 80%. It will look like this. I think quite cool. So let me continue applying the same technique to all these layers. So I will group this and go to layer 33. It's this one. I will duplicate the layer twice as we did with Jon Snow's stamp. Go to this one below, recolor it into Sansa for the thickness, and move it. On the second layer I applied Sansa color, because the next layer is rather light, so we need to isolate it. And for the shadow I'm going to use this layer as it is. Just change it to multiply mode and blur at 10%. For the texture, I'm adding a clipping mask and selecting textured paper. I think we can also set it to soft light and maybe select area. Just apply it like this. Now let's go to the next layer. So I'm grouping these four and switching to the next, repeating all the same steps. Let me first apply paper. So I'm creating a new layer, clipping it, and I will set it to soft light, but I will select black color. And for the paper, I will pick this one with crinkle paper texture. Just apply it like this. If you think it is rather pale, you can try to duplicate the layer. But I will reduce the opacity of one of the layers to around 57%. If you are running out of layers, you can actually merge these. Then I will go here and recolor it into area. Tap to move it. And at the end add a shadow. I think we need to recolor it. For example, into Daenerys. But then set it to multiply mode. And blur. 10% will be enough. I will continue doing the same steps. Let's now just group these three layers and go to the next one. I duplicated it twice, and for the paper I'm gonna use black color together with craft paper. Let's apply it first and then pick the blending mode, or we can keep it as it is. I will merge these two layers, go to the next one, and recolor it into area, just as we did with all these layers. Then I'll move it and turn the last layer into shadow by recoloring it into Daenerys. Changing it to multiply mode and blurring. 10% as always. We only have these two layers left. So let me group these three. Go to this one, also duplicating it. And here I'm going to use one of Procreate textures. So I clip the layer. I will go to texture brushes and select grunge. Let me set it to soft light. And maybe pick black. I will start making strokes like this. And also reduce the opacity to keep a subtle texture. If you like, you can try to turn it into white and see if it works better for you. Now I will go to this layer. We can actually merge these two. I'll go here and fill it with area. Move it. And finally add the shadow. Then blur it. Here comes the last layer. We just need to set it to multiply mode to make the color darker, and then group. Let me find this layer. So I will also duplicate it. Then add a texture. And I think I will try this one. It comes first in the same set. I will just pick black color. Need to reduce the brush size. And then play around with blending mode. You can pick soft light or overlay. Then merge these two layers. I will go to the next one. Okay, let's first move it. And then apply hue saturation brightness. Just make it brighter, so we can see the border. Now we only need to turn this layer into shadow. I think here we can use Caitlyn, because we have a darker background behind. So I will fill it, and then blur. Now the drawing is almost ready. Let's just do one final step. Let's set this one to multiply mode, and then group. Now we have only the last step. And it goes like this. I will open every single group and select layer that is in multiply mode by sliding on it. These are the shadows. A few more. Also for the castle. Okay, now we selected them. Let's click on the arrow and move. So they all go in one direction. The more you move them, the bigger shadow you get. I will put it this way. If you like, you can also go to this layer in the first group and make it slightly darker to add more realism to it and a darker shadow. And after we did that, our design is complete. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Tag me if you post a version on Instagram. For more tutorials and brush sets, please check out my Patreon page. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.